Welcome to the Disney Parks Podcast with your hosts, Tony Caselnova from DisneyByTheNumbers.com and Parkhopper John from WDWParkhoppers.com. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast at all times. And get ready for the Disney Parks Podcast.
We know that coming to Walt Disney World can be very overwhelming with all the fast passes, the dining reservations. Even getting from attraction to attraction can be extremely overwhelming. But we've got a friend that can help you make your next trip to Walt Disney World even more magical. It's Ramon and Theme Park Concierges. You can visit themeparkconcierges.com or call them at 407-257-9973. Ramon and his amazing team of VIP concierges will take care of you from the moment you arrive at the park until the moment you go back to your resort. They can take care of you for a 4-hour time slot or a full day. It all depends on what you need. They can take care of your dining reservations, your fast passes, and even make sure that you find even more magic hidden in the Disney parks. Well, contact our friends, themeparkconcierges.com, or call 407-257-9973 and tell them your friends over at the Disney Parks Podcast sent you.
So tell us about your involvement with the Candlelight Processional.
Well, Candlelight really has an incredible history. In one of the books that I'm writing, I went back over it. Let me just give you a couple of things. In the spring of 1955, the International Olympic Committee was meeting in Paris, France, and the Squaw Valley in California sent in a bid to host the 1960 Winter Olympics. And the resort didn't even exist. There was nothing there. But for some reason, they awarded the Winter Olympics to Squaw Valley in California. So then, they had to build this whole thing. Buildings of record. And the first Olympic Village was constructed. Electronic keyboard mounted. Opening ceremonies were scheduled for Thursday, February 18th. Of 19, whatever I just told you it was, 80 something. I got it, 1960. So on February 16th, it was a full dress rehearsal schedule. Now, Walt Disney was up there in charge of the entertainment, and a gentleman, Dr. Hurt, Charles Hurt, who was the chairman of the choral music department at University of Southern California. He was conducting the massed choir assembled. Well, this beautiful Menick home, which is still there, that was built to house all the executives. There was a blizzard on that day, that February day. They couldn't do. I mean, everybody's inside. You couldn't get out to do a dress rehearsal. So Walt Disney and Dr. Hurt are sitting in this big room, fireplace going. Now, neither one had met the other. They each knew of the other because both the guys are really famous, but they never had met. So they're sitting there talking. And Dr. Hurt asks Walt Disney, so how are things going with the Magic Kingdom? He says, good. You know, we're still building it and working on it. Some problems. And Hurt says, anything that you change? He said, no, but there's something I'd add. He said, I really miss Christmas carolers. And Dr. Hurt said, well, I can do that for you. So Walt Disney said, well, on Christmas Eve, I'd love to have a choir. I'll set up in where I live. This is in Magic Kingdom now in California, right above, City Hall. That's where Walt's, housing was. I can open my windows, and Dr. Hurt said, fine, I'll do that. So Dr. Hurt brought in about 1,000 voices in the square there and circled them. And he stood in the middle. Walt Disney sat upstairs and listened to the carolers on Christmas Eve. Well, the guests really enjoyed the concept, but hated the concert. Nobody could see anything because the singers had their backs to the people. Said a lot of negative comments. Walt Disney said, I loved it. And Dr. Hurt said, well, let's just put the choir at the end of the street. Let's put them up against the railroad, the train station. We'll put them on risers there, and we can we'll have a show. So they did that for every year. So when it came here to when Magic Kingdom opened, the very first Christmas, they brought Candlelight here, and it was on Main Street, at the end of Main Street, at the at the train station. Dr. Hurt would come out here and direct here. He went back and forth, coast to coast. He was getting a little tired of it, and some of the Disney executives were really concerned because it took 2 nights right in the middle out of Mickey's Merry Christmas, whatever that is,
Yeah.
And because they had to strike their shows in order to build Candlelight. And so it was canceled. It was done. And Bob Matheson was one of the very influential vice presidents, said, not on my watch, you're not canceling Candlelight. So you overrode everything and said it's going to keep on going. But there's so much antagonism about it. I was directing it by then. And a lot of antagonism. So they said, why don't we just move it to Epcot? It'll get us it'll take us away from the angst of the park, because everybody has their own. I mean, their jobs depend on how well they do over there. We all get that,
Right.
And you cut 2 days out of their whole thing, or about 3 or 4 days, because you had to set up and tear down. Anyway, so we went to Epcot to do it, which we do it 15 days, 15 nights, 15 shows over there. And they said, are you up for that? I said, I'd love to do that. And by then, because it really needed a revamp, they were just buying music off the shelf. I mean, any choir could get it. So somebody came up with the idea, why don't we just have Disney music? I mean, so they asked me to start writing arrangements for Candlelight. So I said, man, I'd love to. So we were over there, and the first time we did 15 shows, and of course, I mean, you couldn't get people around, so they said, we're going to double it, 2 shows a night for 15 nights. Well, then the next year was 30 nights, 2 shows a night.
Wow.
Are you up for that? And I said, yeah. So I did 60 shows that year, which I loved. Then I'd do it again. But then they decided, because the attendance was big, the demand for the dinner package was so huge, we're going to do 3 shows a night. Well, it's you can't do 3 shows because you have 2 different choirs. One choir rehearses like at 3:45 and goes on, and while the 5 o'clock show was going, a second choir is rehearsed, and they came in to do the second 2. And if you try to do all 3 shows, then our choir is rehearsed without you even seeing them. They don't have any idea who you are,
right,
or what your tempos or feelings are. So they had to start bringing in other directors. So I was still doing about 50, 60 shows, 55 shows a year. While the other shows, with the other directors, which was great with me. I mean, the bigger the better, the more the merrier. But so that became became then, of course, the highest rated live show they've ever had on their property was Candlelight. You know, I mean, it's an amazing thing. And so it's fun to do all that stuff. So, yeah, I left a lot of stuff behind, you know. It was great.
So the Candlelight, when you were doing, is basically the same as it is today. Celebrity narrators, orchestra,
right,
the guest choirs. So it really hasn't changed all that much.
No.
They've changed the script a little bit, I think, since you've left. But how much of the music are they using in Candlelight has your fingerprint on it?
I think it's all mine.
That's amazing.
The last year, they haven't changed any Candlelight music at all.
That's amazing.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
So, well, and we got Ted Ricketts was the musical director for all of Florida, and Disney Florida, and he was the orchestrator. I did the choral arrangements, and I would write a piano accompaniment, and then he would base his orchestra off my piano accompaniment. So we really worked hard to craft it. We would change one or two songs every year. First of all, just to keep it fresh.
Right.
But then Ted stopped one day. He said, "Derric, I don't know. I have no idea what we can what do you want to change? I mean, every song hits a lick. I mean, this one's fast, this one's slow, this one's loud, this one's soft, and the way it works from a show standpoint is like perfect. I don't know." He said, "I don't want to take anything out." know. So I said, "Okay, then fine." So they just left it there. So, but there's probably, what is about 12 songs long, I think, and probably did about 30 arrangements, for it, in and out.
That's amazing.
But it was really fun. I mean, it's great. Yeah. So that was, all those things were just, terrific times, and met some great people. And a lot of people, I know we're going to run out of time here pretty quick. I'm sorry, but I don't want. But these are the stories that I've had a guy and his wife come up after one of the shows, and I will always stay around until the last cat is hung. I don't want to run away. People, my pastor that I grew up, the first boss I had for my 13 years, he said, people need the opportunity to say thank you. Yeah. It's not that you need to hear what they say; it's they need a chance to say it.
Yep.
So be there. Don't just run away and try to be a big star. Stand around. So I'm standing, and Ted Ricketts, the orchestrator, my really good friend, he happened to be there that night, just lurking, and just seeing what's going on, listening to things. This couple came up, and the lady was talking, and he looked pretty feeble, not old. I mean, maybe 45. And she said, "My husband, his name was Mark. She said, we're from Wisconsin, and we come down every year for Candlelight, every Christmas, and we're sure which show you're directing because we want to watch you. Mm-hmm. And so we're here tonight." And last March, he was pronounced with stage 4 cancer, and told he couldn't live more than 6 months. And she said, he told me on the way home from the doctor, "I've got to live till Christmas so I can see Candlelight one more time." And he held out his hand. He said, "So here I am. You saved my life."
Wow. And
she hugged me, and they walked away back to Wisconsin. And Ted, the orchestrator, and that real serious, wonderful Disney guy. I turned around. He just had his eyes wide open. I said, "Did you hear that?" He said, "Derric, I did, and I'm part of that. I helped keep him alive." He said, "Yes, you did." So it just was one of those things that had a much far-reaching, and I can multiply that story by 50s and 100s. Wow. Of the impact on people, not just nice music, but just the chance to come and sit and be entertained, but have music like that focuses on something beyond our control. It's a great
story,
and it focuses there, and get away from all the world and all the problems, and just look at the promise. Right. And that, to me, that's why I did it. Just the opportunity to share that good news with millions of people. I forget. Ron Logan figured out one time how many people I had conducted for. I mean, golly, the millions. Yeah.
How long did you, or how long have you known Ron Logan? I'm part of a Disneyana fan club, and Ron came out last Christmas, actually, and spoke to our fan club. And he's quite an entertaining person himself, him and his wife.
Oh, yeah. Ron Logan is great. So I've known him for, now it'll be almost 40 years. And he's just one of those great visionary guys. He probably wouldn't tell you this, but he's the one that went to Michael Eisner and said, we need to put Beauty and the Beast on Broadway.
Yeah, I know.
And Eisner said, did he tell you this?
Yeah.
And Michael Eisner said, you're crazy.
Right.
Critics will kill us. A fairy tale on Broadway. And Ron said, no, we can do it.
Yeah.
We should do it. Great story. Yeah. And so Michael said, well, give me a proposal. Right. And, of course, the proposal to Michael Eisner was just 1 page, 3 paragraphs. He said, I don't read scripts, and I don't do budgets. Just tell me what it'll cost, how much will I make, and why should we do it?
Yeah.
So Ron did, and I said, okay, now how much really would it take to put this on? And Ron said, $35 million, I can do it. And so I said, go for it. Yeah. And it made $350 million in its first 10 years, Right. But that's Ron Logan. I mean, he got great vision, and I always loved working with Ron Logan. Still do. We in fact, he called me the other day talking about some stuff, so we've done some stuff together outside of Disney.
Right.
Cool.
Because Ron's not there anymore. Yeah. And all my friends, Ted Rickus, he's not there anymore. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a secret club called GLAD, GLAD, Great Life After Disney.
I've heard about this group.
Yeah. Wow. So we still keep in touch. I was doing a big theater thing up in Jackson Hole. We were building one, so I had Ron Logan to come up and work for me. Is that cool?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So we've done a bunch of stuff together. Yeah. He's a monster man. He really is great.
Yeah.
Outside of the things that we talked about tonight, did you do anything else for Disney while you were there?
Candlelight, Voices of Liberty.
We had a group called Spirit of America Singers. They were 18 months over in the Magic Kingdom in Frontierland. That was fun. It was a very, very good group.
Was that around 1976 ish, or later?
No, it was after. It had been the 80s, mid 80s.
Okay,
and it was in 18, but Disney decided they didn't have any new openings. Mm. So marketing said, entertainment, you've been wanting to do it, take it. How much money do you need? So there was like $50 million to do a bunch of new entertainment. And so Spirit of America was one of them. And I wrote a bunch of the castle shows, for a while as well. I wrote some music for France. So
France is in Disneyland Paris, or France the Pavilion?
No. Disneyland Paris.
Just making sure. Mm-hmm. So I know we got to wrap up here because we promised you it would be just an hour. But I would be remiss if because your leadership, the books and the things that you've done for me have really changed my life. But one of the things I love is you have a Disney book. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about that real quick?
Yeah, it's a book. I've got it done. I'm just looking for the money to publish it.
Right.
It's called 15 Things I Learned from the Mouse, and they are really principles of influence. And they're things like We Need a Bigger Sky. Here's the chapter titles, a couple of them. Never Look Back. Budget does not begin with how much money you have. It begins with what you need to do.
Right.
Make change a choice. You don't have to die until you want to die. That exceed expectations, that kind of thing. And there's 15 chapters, and each one embodies a story of something that happened to me at Disney. And there's some just, and they're not Dennis Wheatley warmed over kind of stories. Which are great stories, but these are mine.
Right.
Meetings I was in, things, people I met, what we did. Walter Cronkite did a thing, and when he was our narrator. They don't let people be with the narrators anymore, which is really too bad. I'd lay my body across a railroad track for that. But I made some really good friends out of narrators, Gary Sinise and Felicia Rashad. We had so much in common as we talked, kind of kept, kept in touch even afterwards. But when Walter Cronkite was the narrator, I was in his green room and I said, Mr. Cronkite, and he said, Derric, call me Walter. I said, so, Mr. Cronkite, like I'm really going to call him Walter.
Yeah, right.
And the way I wrote this show, put it together for Candlelight, is it's through composed, so there's no chance for narrators to get off track. I mean, it's scripture songs on purpose, to move it along. But at the very end, after the holiday chorus and before the sing-off song, there's what I call a window of oral opportunity when the narrator gets to say whatever he wants to say.
Right.
Thanks to Disney for reminding us for the reason of the season. Lou Gossett Jr. said, these are the young people, talk about the choir, that should be on the front page of every newspaper. This is the future, those kind of things.
Right.
And I said, Mr. Cronkite, why don't you say at the end, use your famous line, and that's the way it was. I mean, you just read the Christmas story, and you guys are probably too young to know, but that's how we ended his news commentator every night.
No, I'm not too young.
Oh, okay, good. I said, so I think that would be fitting. He said, well, Derric, I said, thank you. That's a very nice idea, but I would choose not to say that. I said, really? Would you tell me why? And you always want to know why.
Sure.
Never think you know it all. You got to keep asking. He said, well, if I say, and that's the way it was, everyone will think of Walter Cronkite. But we are not here tonight to think of Walter Cronkite, are we? We're here to think about a baby born in a manger to bring peace and love into this world. I would choose not to divert the attention. Gee, that's heavy-duty stuff, man.
Yeah, right.
That's
great. Isn't that great?
That's amazing. I don't know if you get that. Yeah,
the main thing is keep the main thing the main thing.
I've heard that somewhere.
and that's right, you have. And he's got it. I mean, Cronkite had it. Of course, it's gone now, unfortunately.
Right.
But, boy, so we had dinner with Walter Cronkite. Debbie and I did with Walter and Betsy and about 6 other Disney people. But we got to sit right across the table from him and just listen to him talk and tell his stories. And I'm telling you, it was amazing.
Sure.
Amazing.
I could listen to your stories. I think the reason why I was thinking that the Disney book was already out, because I remember a while back, and I mean years. I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I think I sat in one of your conference classes, one of your breakout sessions, where you were you're doing the things you learned from the mouse. That's why I was thinking it was a book.
Well, it's every time I do it, I've done it about 50 or 60 times as a seminar. There's always a line of people saying, "Where's the book?"
Right.
And I kept rewriting it and filling with it. But I've got it done. I just have got to, to do it right. I need to just,
right.
It needs to go past an editor really, and then get published enough to make it. But it's going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the manuscript right now.
Yeah.
So
cool. So tell everybody, Derric, where they can find you on the internet. If you want them to find you, and tell everybody, where they can find your music or your books and things like that.
Sure, Tony. The best way for us is I have a website. It's Derric, DERRIC, DerricJohnson.com.
All right,
that's right.
Perfect.
And that'll get everything: music to buy and books to buy, or think spots to ruminate on, or pontificate over,
right.
all that stuff.
Yeah, very cool.
So we're loaded, man. Yeah. Well, guys, it's been wonderful to be with you. Thank you. Thanks for this. You guys are great. You're good listeners. No. I talked way too much. Sorry about that.
No, you didn't.
No.
We could sit and listen to your stories all night long, and
well, it's really fun.
Thanks.
So,
we appreciate your time, and from the Disney community. I mean, you've heard me tell you personally from the Disney community, and I know I'm speaking for Tony and the people that we did let know that we were doing this tonight. They just all wanted to tell you thank you, because we need to say it, but B, you need to know that there's a group of people that love and appreciate the work that you put in and the passion and the legacy that you've left. Just the Disney community alone, is totally awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
Well, you're wonderful guys. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
it's been great.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Derric. And as we'd say around here, we'd see you in the parks.
The Disney Parks podcast is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company. All Disney parks, attractions, lands, shows, event names, etc. are registered trademarks of the Walt Disney Company.
Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through.